What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. Up over $2 today in AMC. It is the last day to report Q2 at 13F filings, and a bunch of them came rolling in. I'm going to give you a quick update on where those stands as far as the amount of shares purchased versus sold throughout this time frame. I also want to cover an article that was released today, a massive article talking about a huge increase of a position from a very successful hedge fund. I'm going to cover one line specifically in that article, especially because it relates so closely to the technical analysis and why it is actually very important for every single stock. So let's get right into it. First off, I want to take a look at it. Little sell-off coming right at the open and rip up right away. Held strong. There was no pullbacks, a little bit of sideways choppiness, held strong into the close, and it looks like we're already starting to pop up a little bit after hours, even though it's only 2 minutes after close. Want to take a quick peek at the daily chart. I want to point this out. The MACD and the RSI showing signs of a bullish, reversal to the upside. RSI still has plenty of room to run. Take a look at these three solid green candles on the daily chart. Scrolling back, we haven't seen three in a row until we saw a massive gap right here, all the way back in early June. Once we can get above this 50 moving average, we're going to get back into the green ocean. There wasn't a lot of activity in the 40s. We quickly move up to those 50s and 60s. That's when we're going to see the next level of resistance, so long as the buying pressure continues. Now, as we are talking about buying pressure, I just mentioned it. Let's go over to this article right here. Okay, it says Jim Simmons of a Rentech fund tripled its AMC stake last quarter. Want to highlight one thing first. One of the biggest and best performing hedge funds in history. But take a look at this line right here. Just the first part that I highlighted. Rentech, a quantitative fund that trusts algorithms to decide many of its trades. Computers make the trades for a lot of these hedge funds. That's why I cover technical analysis all the time. If you run back into early June when we had that massive run up and you saw a lot of these positions from the 13F filings that we've taken a look at all throughout here, that average share price of the $33 range from Q2, which is before June 30th, you can see that average of where we were. A lot of them bought into it, running right up into this. That's what gives a massive amount of volume coming into AMC. From where it goes up, it's probably going to pull back a little bit just naturally. We held some support, a little bit of selling, massive increase in shorting in here. But if you look to see that happen again, once we can pop over this, that's when these algorithms are going to pick up, and that's when you're going to see the massive buying happen again. That's why I cover technical analysis, because it is relevant to every single stock, because computers make a lot of trades for especially these large institutions. Covering where they stand right now, the most up-to-date information that we have, 2.29 billion. I believe in the last video I made it was 2.14 billion, with still 143 million sold. If you look at the 13Fs that came in today, these are all the ones that came in as of the 16th today. Our favorite one has not yet reported. Looking to see what happens by tomorrow, end of day today. A lot of green in here, as you can still see. So let me just jump over. I want to cover one last thing as it relates very important to what is going on in the overall market. I want to take a quick look at SPY, and I'm going to relate everything for you, especially if you did not see my video yesterday. SPY is on another tear, making another massive high. We jump over to the daily chart and you can see it made another all-time high. I want to point this out though, because yesterday I made a video talking about the futures and how I literally plan my week first on a Sunday night by taking a look at what exactly the futures are doing. What's happening before the market opens is what's going to lead into initially what happens on Monday market open. As you can see, /NQ had a little bit of selling off happening. It opens up Sunday at 6 p.m. if you haven't seen that video. A little bit of selling off coming into it's a very bearish pattern happening. As soon as that market opened, hard drop. Now this is the /NQ. It tracks the NASDAQ futures. Another one that I like to look at is the Russell 2000, which is the the futures for the Russell 2000. As you can see, same thing, a lot of very bearish patterns happening, a little sell, a little pop back up. As soon as market open, insane pullback right away. I want to talk about this screenshot that I said 9:24 this morning. Just to give you a quick brief, I give everybody in the private group the stocks that I am watching for this morning, and I said this right here: heavy run of green in the last few days going into Wednesday's meeting, as well as Biden speaking today. Looking for some quick weekly puts or shorts. I expect SPY to continue its run after its pullback, as we see. If you jump over and look at exactly what happened with SPY, we're going to take a quick look at it. What happened on the 1 day, 1 minute? As soon as that market opened, instant sell off right away. This little bit of a curl right here was probably just a little bit of shorts covering, came back in, made that double bottom, and ripped right away from that. I didn't catch that double bottom. A few individuals in the group were able to really make a killing from this nice run it had going into the intraday. I thought it was going to sell off potentially a little bit more going into power hour, just for the uncertainty of what the president is going to say as he addresses the nation about what is happening now in the Middle East. But even look at this one right here from 11 o'clock. The SPY 444 puts were up 117% for anyone who bought this Friday's expiration at the money bearish position, because it looked toppy and all the news that we talked about, and especially because we looked at the futures the night before, we could expect what was going to be happening. Your risk was $100. Now, I did tell everybody that this would have been for 5 contracts. You would have been up over $600. Your max risk would have been at that 445 level. If you purchased this for the 444, right around at the money, the SPY began to rip up, showing that it was bullishness, and they totally wiped out the futures. There was a complete reversal happening. That would have been your maximum risk, losing $1,000. Your risk reward was $600 potential gain to $1,000, and that was only if you wrote it to where I created, or I had printed out this screenshot. It was right around here. You came back, closed in here, right when it started to curl, the shorts potentially covered, still would have made about 80 to 85% on your gains. Could have flopped your position and ran it all the way up. You don't have to have a big account to be able to do this. You could do this very, very comfortably, especially because the SPY premiums are are nicely priced. You can get one contract for just over, $100, $200, depending on where you're playing and when your expiration exactly is. A lot of action and activity becomes on this, and it's a great way to learn. So that's it for this video. Let's continue for a rockin' week, and I'll see you in the next one.